Good evening, guys. It's interesting. I have this topic today to share with you, whatever topic is our webinar. But first, I've decided to tell you a very interesting story. Okay, it's my personal life, and it's pretty in relevance of what we are going to discuss. So many years ago, probably 8 years ago, I was training hypnotherapy group here in Dubai. And in level 1, I mean, few of you are from that group, you know that we do have a self-hypnosis as a tool. In right level 1, you learn self-hypnosis, which is incredible tool, but somehow participants overlook it or underestimate it, or they just do not practice as much as it's supposed to be practiced. So I always have this habit of asking them, so give me the feedback. Have you done it? If yes, then what happened? If no, what happened? So there was this one lovely lady who asked me, can I ask you a personal question? I said, go ahead. She's saying, have you ever done self-hypnosis to earn big amount of money or win a lottery or something like that? I said, no, I've never done it. So she's saying, why not? Wouldn't you want to have like a lot of money? Wouldn't you love to have a little bit more money? I said, sure, I would love to, but I've not done it. So she just marches in front of the class and shakes my hand and says, so I promise you I start self-hypnosis tonight for the same, with the same affirmation, whatever affirmation she would have chosen for herself, basically to win money or to earn more money. And whenever I do, I will transfer 10% to you. And she says, you have to promise me the same thing. Okay, so you start self-hypnosis for money, and then you are going to transfer it to me. I said, okay. Anyways, in a couple of days, I wrap up my training and I'm traveling back home. And so I'm in a cab and I'm nearing the airport and I'm looking out from the window and I see this ad on the board, which is one of the Bollywood actors, all Indians over here for you. It's Amitabh Bachchan. I will never forget that. So it's Amitabh Bachchan's picture over there with slabs of gold, okay? And it says, win 50 kilos of gold. And suddenly I begin to future progress myself. So this is the term like how you have heard of past life regressions and regressing into your childhood. What I did was actually I progressed into the future. And it took probably a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, and I've developed this huge anxiety and panic attack. Now, I believe it was a panic attack, probably not, because I've never had it before ever. I never had it after. And there was a part of me who was aware what was happening, and awareness and panic attack are two opposite things, right? They are not friends with each other at all. So that's why I'm saying probably it wasn't full-blown panic attack, but when I, calmed myself down, I used whatever tools I could. I came out from the cab. I couldn't enter the airport. I had to sit down on my suitcase and breathe for probably 10 minutes. It's a long time. That day, my life has changed completely. And what happened and how it changed, probably I'll share with you by end of the seminar if we have time. But right now, let's go to our topic. So how can NLP change your life? Now, interesting is, what is NLP? Have you heard about it? Just wave. I'm sure that you have, and you must have read what it is, that therefore you are, yes, Rita, I can see you. Therefore you are here. So NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. Now, what does that mean? Neuro means neurons, just like your word suggests. Neurons are the group of, trillions of cells that create your nervous system. Now, good news is, if you are humans, you are alive, you are here, that confirms it, you do have nervous system. So one good news we do have, that one ingredient is there for NLP. Now, linguistic, as word suggests, is language, but not the language that we perceive as right now I'm utilizing English as a language. No, because this language is just 7% of our communication. Have you heard about it? That what you speak, what you say in words is just 7% of your communication. In fact, 33% of your communication is your tone of the voice or voice modulation, and the rest is your physiology. Okay, your gestures, your posture, your body language. There are 80 muscles in your face only. So how you are communicating is perceived in totality of what you are doing with your body, with your face. Okay. Now, just, you know, I'm so grateful for you guys and so happy and so very excited that you are, you know, into this webinar, and welcome to all of you. Now, how would you, what would you believe and what would you gauge with this communication, right? So body language is so, so powerful. Or if I'll just go into a monotonous way of talking and tell you the story, probably you will plug yourself out and pretend that, you know, there is some error with the internet. So you understand what communication and linguistic means here. And it's not that we're only communicating outwards, we're communicating inwards, and we are telling ourselves the stories. Okay. So what is the last word? Programming. Programming is programming. How you understand programming, like every pattern that you have in your life, every program that you run in your behavior, how you act in a certain situations, how you react to certain people. These are all programming. So when you read about NLP and you read something like this, that two gentlemen, and one of them is my teacher, John Grinder, and Richard Bandler have created NLP, I don't particularly perceive it that way. I perceive that NLP is there, whether you know about it or not. It's like a gravitational force. So Newton didn't discover, I mean, he discovered it, he didn't create it, right? And now that we are aware that it's there, we are utilizing it to our benefit. So similarly, NLP is there. Now, I don't know what's the rightest way to express it. Do you have NLP? Do you do NLP, or are you NLP? I don't know which one describes it the best, but NLP is there. It exists, whether we know about it or not. So when you are coming for the training or to learn the NLP tools, what you are doing is you are learning the tools to first understand what is your NLP, and in the areas that it doesn't work, to apply the tool that is going to make it work according to the result that you want to achieve. And in the areas that it works best, still learn what is it that you are doing that result is happening, so that you can duplicate your own strategy into another area. Okay, for example, let's say you are extremely confident when you are talking to your friends and you are never hesitating. But the moment you have to go in front of public and do the presentation, there is this whole panic and, you know, anxiety, and your mouth goes dry and you forget what you have to say, and series of symptoms. Okay. Now you are having an NLP of being confident, relaxed, effortless with your friends. So if you know what you are doing with your friends, if you know when you are with your friends, what are you telling to yourself internally? And then if you understand what are you doing in public, you can change it, you can tweak it, you can bring this strategy into other. You can change the inner dialogue. This is what NLP is. Okay, it's basically a user's manual. Imagine, like, for example, 2 days ago, I went and bought this health watch or whatever device, right, which tracks. Now, I do have this limiting belief that I'm challenged electronically, and I need a human being next to me to teach me how to use, whether it's mobile or computer. And this is my promise today. After this watch, I promised myself, and I'm giving you this commitment that I'm going to sort this belief out. So for the same reason, I couldn't order it online, because I didn't know what to do with it once it arrived. So I had 1 hour day before yesterday between my clients, and I rushed to MOA. And I go to the shop and I tell this guy, Indian guy, so I said that, will you teach me if I buy this watch? So with my Hindi, you know, I just flirted with him. So he says, yes, I will. And suddenly he disappears, and he's not there like for probably 5-7 minutes. And I only have 1 hour to go and come back, right? And to do purchase and to do the learning. So he comes back and I'm already irritated. And he tells me, but ma'am, you have to download the software. I said, okay, which software? App, some app. So he tells me the name and I download because this much I know. Then he's telling me, but you have to sync it right now. I said, how do I do it? He's saying you have to switch on the mobile, Bluetooth. So I know how to switch it on. And then I went with the messages, whatever he told me, and I did my syncing. And there was no more time. And I don't think he knew any better how to use it. So I just paid money, I came back. Now, ever since then, I didn't have time to open that user's manual or to watch some videos or to read about it. However, the watch is on my wrist. It does its job, whatever it needs to do. It does send information to my mobile, but because I don't know how to read it, or rather what it means, or what kind of feeding I need to do according to my needs, it's useless. It does not satisfy my intention. So this is what NLP is. It's a manual. It's a user manual. You do have the brain, you do have the nervous system, you do have the mind, you do have the processes that you have mastered, the programs, right? And you do know the language and you are using it in and out, but you are not getting the results that you want. So I hope this explained to you what NLP is. Do you have any questions? Please message right here on the chat, and I will stop wherever I am and I'll answer you. Otherwise, I'm continuing. So now, what do we do internally? This is very important. So all of us are exposed to outer world, which is kind of fact. Let's take COVID, okay? COVID happened to each one of us, not in terms of infection, but the kind of lockdowns the entire world went through. Probably it was one of the most uniform experiences. However, each one of us had different experience with it. I had clients who have developed panic attacks suddenly or developed clinical depression. They're on medication. I had clients who divorced, couples, many of them who divorced because of the lockdown, because they couldn't coexist together in that system. I had clients who have developed a beautiful ideas and found new opportunities. And I had clients who had aha moments in their, spiritual experiences, and people who have got better control on their, fitness and their lives. And so many different experiences. So how does that happen? So at every point of time, we are exposed to around 2 million bits of information, but we are unable to absorb it. We are approximately able to absorb 134,000. Okay, these are the numbers that scientists came up with. However, in given point of time, what you can pay attention to and react to is 7 plus minus 2. And that number also feels very exaggerated for me. For example, if I'm messaging and someone is talking to me, I can't multitask. I cannot answer there and answer here. And sometimes it becomes very, very irritating to other people because it kind of comes as, disrespectful or rude, or, you're not paying attention to me, but that's not the case. Like either I'm focused here or I'm focused there. Of course, some people can multitask and do maybe 3, 4, 5 things together, but it's 7 plus minus 2 that one can pay attention to simultaneously. Okay, so interesting is, what do we do internally to come from 2 million to 7 plus minus 2? And what we actually do is very natural processes, which are called generalization, deletion, and distortion. So these are the processes. Unconsciously we do it. We don't realize it. Each of these process has its good part and bad part, as anything else in life. For example, generalization helps us to learn, right? So once you learn that this is a mobile, Every time you change mobile, you don't have to learn what is mobile and how to utilize it, right? So once you learn how to wear your shoes, every new pair of shoes, you don't need to learn, you already know, and your life becomes easier with generalization. But we do a lot of bad stuff as well with generalization. And I mean, a couple of you who have been in my trainings, you know that in couples, for example, when we generalize and we say, you always do that, or you never call me on time, or every man is like that. When one guy cheats on you and you say all men are like that. When woman, you know, nags, you say all women are like that. When child misbehaves in the restaurant, you say, I don't want to be next to the children, they are nuisance, right? So these are also generalizations and we do it constantly. Another is a deletion. We delete a lot of things. Therefore, there could be two people and observing the same situation outside and then arguing what they saw, because it's not the same what they saw, what they remember from the experience. And we do distort things. And this deletion, distortion, generalization happens in what we perceive as well as in what we say. For example, the webinar that you are in says, how can NLP change your life? It never said for the better. Probably I'm going to talk about how your life is going to be miserable after this webinar, but none of you questioned that, right? So you just said, okay, NLP can change the life, and somehow you have deleted, distorted, or generalized that since it's illumination, since it's something, or since it's Irina, okay, it's going to be something good, and you just plugged into the webinar, right? So this is how your mind works. And you need to know exactly which you are more prone to. You could be prone to 3 of them, sometimes probably only generalizations. In fact, I want you to see one film. Okay, let's see if you guess who is the killer. So there is this film. I'm going to now share where the guy is murdered and one second, let me just figure this out. Good news is that I've learned once how to do this. So I'm going to do it even now. You just have to give me a time. One sec. You go here. First you go here. Oh God. Oh God. Share the screen. Can you see my screen? You can see it now?
Yes, yes, now it's better.
All right. All right. So now you have to figure out who killed this guy, okay? Listen very carefully.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away.
Sorry, madam.
It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
Okay. So what did you observe and what did you understand?
Everybody had a kind of weapon, right?
Everybody had a weapon, true. What else? Anyone else wants to share? No? Okay. All right. So let's see what's happening actually. Yeah. Let's continue.
And action. Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts and precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Well, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
All right.
Wow. It's interesting because the first thing I noticed was the bear at the back, and I was like, what is the bear doing there? And then I totally forgot that it was there, and then there was that the armor, and I didn't notice that it changed. It's weird. I thought for a minute, I thought I am stupid.
Yes, you see, so this is what your mind does all the time. So next time you want to argue with your partner, you know you have to rather probably shut up, because what you know might not be what it was, right?
Our
So
husband.
have you ever had the experience, for example, you want to buy something, let's say you want to buy a car, and suddenly you start seeing the same model everywhere, same color everywhere, right? Suddenly, and then you say, oh my God, there are so many of them. Or something else you want to, something else you hear, something else someone tells you, and then the same information or same object or same event keeps coming to your life. Why? Because wherever you focus, we say it expands. Why does it expand? Because your awareness has expanded and included it there. So next time you are seeing, you are not going to delete it. That's what is happening. Otherwise, it was very much there even before. So we keep generalizing, we keep distorting, we keep deleting, we keep seeing things which are not there, we keep not seeing things which are there. Okay? In hypnosis, we call it positive and negative hallucinations. I don't know if you have heard in your level 1 or about this or not, but something that you can see under hypnosis, okay, which is not there. For example, you can ask your client to open the eyes and see the elephant in the room, which is not there, but client will see. And then say there are no chairs in this room, where there are plenty of chairs, but client will not be able to see because it's called negative hallucination. So similar hallucination happens in a real life when we are not hypnotized, because life also is big hypnosis. In fact, only few moments of our lives we are awake. So NLP is the tool. How can you be more present? Number 1. It is tool. How can you excel in something that you want to excel? It is amazing tool to become emotionally intelligent, because emotions are the driving force or every behavior that you have. Have you ever come across situation where you said, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't behave like that, or I didn't do that? But what made you do that is your feelings, is your emotions. It's so strong. It's like a huge energy driving you, right? So to become emotionally more intelligent, and emotional intelligence doesn't mean to be always happy or always joyous. Yeah, sometimes you don't have to be excited, or you don't have to be joyous. Let's say you got really good news. Your bunch of friends are coming for a week and you are going to have a blast. But the same day you are having an interview, like Rita had an interview other day, right? In an appropriate time. So if you have an interview, you need to be grounded, you need to be present, you need to be certain state. And now here you are all bubbly and jerky. You don't have to do that, right? You have to ground yourself. That requires emotional intelligence. Sometimes you are sad and you are not able to step out of your sadness. You need to have emotional intelligence to step out, to step in, to choose the states so that you are more resourceful. So you have an agenda, you want to do this, and for that particular action or behavior, you require state, which is like that. You are aware, but you are not able to produce it. NLP helps you to do that. I can absolutely not imagine, I can't think of having a therapy without knowledge and awareness of NLP, because the rapport is so important with your client. So NLP teaches to have a rapport. Now, me and a couple of you who have been in hypnosis trainings and intend to be a therapist like me, you already know rapport is so important and you can use it in your therapy sessions. But for other people who don't want to be therapists, they still need rapport for their relationships, be it family, partner, friends, colleagues, team members, employers, employees. With everyone, you need to have a rapport. NLP helps you to learn how to communicate better. Have you heard a person saying, you know, it's only my partner that can't understand me. You know, I have a lovely relationship with everybody else. Every friend loves me. People love me at my work, my parents. I have lovely relationship with my siblings. It's only him who never understands, who always wants to run away when I want to say something. Have you heard something like that? I do all the time, right? When you have the intention of saying something, but what you say is not what you intended and is not what understood by the other, that miscommunication with NLP you can resolve, because each one of us understands communication in particular representation. Now, what do I mean by representation? Like, we have got different senses. So when I'm talking about my memory or some experience, I might be experiencing internally with pictures, with photos. So I'm more photogenic, more visual, not photogenic, sorry, photogenic is different, more visual person, which means I'm talking through my memories, which are stored in pictures, right? And that certainly means that what you are telling me, also I'm taking it in pictures, because that's my highest comfort. Now, if you're constantly going on with your audio representational systems, I will not understand you. So if I'm saying, oh, I can see your point of view, versus I can hear it, it sounds good, versus it feels so good, it really feels right. In my gut, I can feel what you are saying is right, right? So there are different ways of communicating. So if you learn how to notice what's the main representational system of your partner, you can give the important messages, at least in that particular representational system, for him or for her to understand you better. Right? So understanding and aligning your body language with what is your intention is also very important. Now, performance is another thing that NLP is used. Performance, whether it's in your workplace, your career, your sports, performance in your fitness, performance when you want to do public speaking or anything else. The NLP gives you the tools, and the beauty of NLP is that there is nothing that's wrong or right. It's you who decides what you want to have more, what you want to have less. There is no judgment, and you can apply to yourself. So best way to have NLP with you is to train yourself, because it's a daily thing. I don't believe that you go for NLP session, 1 or 2 sessions and your life is going to be sorted. No, you can learn the tools in those sessions and you have to apply it to your life. It's a lifestyle change, right? It's your brain. I mean, you can't have panic attack once and keep then repeating and reproducing. For example, what happened to me, right? You have to master it so that it happens unconsciously then. So all our negative behaviors, negative patterns, we don't even know how we do it. We just do it because we have done it so many times. So when I have actually clients who come with anxiety, I tell them, can you teach me? I would love to experience what you're experiencing. So will you be able to teach me? And it's very difficult for them to teach me because they don't know what exactly they do. And we have to go step by step and understand what they do. So then to understand what I do, for example, as someone who doesn't have panic attack, and to teach them how to do it. Right? So every behavior has got its strategy, it has got its pattern, and that's something that you are learning, how to spot at what point you need to tweak. So this is one way of doing it. Another big field in NLP is to model somebody else who does it so well. Let's say you know someone who does amazingly well in public speaking. So to observe that person, that's how actually NLP came into existence. Richard Bandler and John Grinder started learning 3 grandiose, like amazing therapists ever. And they wanted to reproduce the same results. So they observed what they were doing with their clients. So that's called modeling. So how do you model some behavior with someone who has it, whether you know that person personally, of course, that helps, because you can go and ask exactly what they do inside their head that you can't observe. You can observe their breathing, you can observe their posture, you can observe their gestures and the movements, but what they are doing internally, until unless you ask them the questions, you will not be able to. So it's always better to have somebody who is alive and you have access to that person who does it, and pick up the behavior that you want to pick up. Anyone has any questions? Yes, I've been reading so much on NLP. How does one identify an accredited session for becoming an NLP practitioner, as there are many companies and we never know which course is the best, especially in South Africa where there are limited resources. Okay, Charlie, so, Charlene, you are in South Africa. Now, NLP that is accredited, there are many different bodies of NLP that are there. I don't know which is in South Africa, but in Dubai there are many. I'm having my training next month, I mean in May, which is accredited by AB NLP. Now, depending on if your intention is to become a facilitator of NLP, you definitely need to go to Train the Trainer course. Now, Train the Trainer course will accept AB NLP, will accept ANLP certification, will accept ACNLP certification. So there are a lot. So what I would suggest is, wherever you intend to do your Train the Trainer course, go to that particular organization and send them the email. Okay, or in their description, it will be written what certification they accept. This would be number one. So this is in case you want to become a facilitator of NLP and have the certificate to run practitioner and master courses. Okay, best would be first decide on your course where you want to do Train the Trainer course, and then email it to them. Now, second thing, there are a lot of NLP courses out there, but the intention of every course is very different. For example, the NLP that I'm training would be more focused on the self-use and therapeutic use, because That's what my strength is. I'm a therapist, I'm a psychotherapist, and I'm using NLP for psychotherapy versus someone who is into a sales and marketing and will use NLP to sell something better or to market something better. So if you are into a sales marketing and that's the skill you want to improve and that's that kind of trainings you want to run, then probably you need to find somebody who has the niche into that area and expertise in that area. So that way you have to choose. Okay, then there are like a corporate trainers and leadership trainers, and you want that, then you go accordingly to those trainings. But there is no one and only accredited such school. There are many. I hope I answered your question. Anyone else? Amazing. If you have, honors in psychology, it would be much easier for you to kind of create then trainings that is going to serve the particular group of people. You will understand better. Your courses in May is for personal use only. No, it's not only for personal use, definitely. This NLP course that I will have is a practitioner course, which will be 5 days. And it's certified. It is going to make you eligible to go for the master training, whether you want to do masters with me or anywhere else, because it will be AB NLP certified. And it's going to be more oriented on therapeutic use of NLP. It means like applying NLP to somebody else or to yourself, right? Now that somebody else, usually the field that I work is therapy. Now in therapy, we say, do not ever do therapy with your loved ones. Don't ever try to create the client out of your family member. However, NLP tools you can use on your loved ones. You can use on your children. You can pace and lead them. You can, create those circle of excellence for them. You can let them, delete those bad memories. You can teach them how to sit down and how to change the posture. It's a very safe place to do it with your friends, you can help a lot of people around you, which you can't do with therapy, right? Therapy, you need to be a little bit disassociated. So therapy is when person is feeling unhealthy in some way, okay, emotionally, psychologically, mentally. NLP is to improve, to tweak, it's a user's manual, as I'm saying. I literally mean it. Ina, you have really given a good presentation on NLP. I will definitely contact you when I come there. How often do you have the training, or where can I get more information on the training? You can get more information from Illuminations. So at least there will be 4 trainings a year of the, 4 trainings each in the year. So you can inquire and find out the dates. Okay, so now what I intend to do is, before we come to the end of the webinar, and if I have the time, I'll finish my story. Everybody is so curious to hear that, I know. But I want to give you an experience of NLP, okay? So maybe a couple of experiences. First of all, I want you to go into a very painful, resentful, or sad memories of your life, okay? And only do it if you can handle that. If you can handle it, just for a 10-20 seconds, just go into that memory, whether you want to do it with open eyes, closed eyes, but I want you to observe your posture, your physiology, your breathing when you are doing that, okay? It's bad I can't see all of you, but whoever I can see, that is why I like when your videos are on, but never mind. All right. All right. So right now I want you to just check the timing. What's the time? So that we call the break state. Okay, suddenly you have to get out from the situation. And now I want you to look up, okay? Put your head a little bit up, look up and put your shoulders back like that. And now I want you to think of that bad memory and tell me if you are able to. You are not, okay? Let's see. Are you able to? Del no, Rita no. See how much difference physiology makes. It's impossible because every time you are depressed, anyone who is depressed, the shoulders are here and head is down. They talk very slowly. Their breathing is very shallow. Right? The voice, head is down. Every time head is down, your voice is very... Versus when you are excited, your head is up, right? Tone of the voice changes. You see the pitch versus this, right? And it's impossible to reproduce and duplicate something that made you sad and, you know, heavy when you are looking like that. So this is also NLP. And I'm not saying for everyone this would be the same. Okay, so we need to understand for each one, what is it? Okay, so even Xenia is saying no, can't. Sakshi cannot feel the same. Yes, now let's do another one. Let's have a memory that you would rather delete. Something that keeps bothering you in, let's say, last couple of months or weeks, something unpleasant that has happened, and you don't want it to be coming so often and with such an intensity, okay? So just think about it. And when you think about it, there's an image immediately that comes. And obviously that image is somewhere in front of you, above you, below you, I don't know, behind you, somewhere that image comes. So I want you to focus on that image and see the size, approximate size, of course, the location where it is, what kind of colors it has. Is it bright? Is it dim? Is it focused or defocused? Just become very aware of it. Does it have frame or... And right now, I just want you to shrink inside this image. Shrink to the dot. And then move to the opposite direction. So if it's in front of you, move it behind you. If it's up, move it down. If it's down, move it up. Just move opposite direction. And take it, whatever learning is there. There was some learning for you that you have attracted this situation. So now it is shrunk and it went to opposite direction. There is more space between you and situation. So it's easier for you to take some learnings from it. What did you learn? And whether that learning is conscious or unconscious, then you can decide what do you want to do this dot, with this dot. You can completely swish it and move it to the horizon and throw it away, or bury it under the earth, and then open your eyes. And once again, just check the time. And now just check bringing that memory back and see how you feel and observe what has changed. Anybody who would like to share? Come on, guys.
I just feel this less guilt, obviously. The situation brings the guilt.
Okay, it was guilt and now you feel less guilt? Okay. So intensity is decreased, let's put it this way. For anybody else, what's the observation? Doesn't bring up too many emotions next time, okay. Lighter feelings about it, yes. Right. See, in our mind, we have got different folders in our unconscious mind where we have the library of our memory. And how do we know when some memory is pleasant, some memory is unpleasant? Or how do we know what is real, what is not real? How we know what is truth and what is lie? We do have marks on these folders. And if we are going to mix this documents, let's say I have a folder of lies and I'll take one lie from there and I'm going to put it into the folder that holds the truths, suddenly I might start believing into that lie as a truth. You see what happens? So this is how mind is organized. And these are the processes that we are using to delete beliefs, to bring new beliefs. This is what we are using. So our mind is a pretty complicated thing, and the learning of these complications and how it's working is what NLP does. Okay, learning your unconscious mind. And what happens when you learn your unconscious mind, that's the bigger dude, right? That's the one who is so powerful, like 6,000 times more powerful. So consciously you begin to decide different things, you create new rules for yourself, and then you are not able to do it. It's like you are torn in between. One part wants one thing, another wants another thing, and they never agree. And guess who wins? It's always unconscious because it's so much more powerful. So with NLP, you are bringing these two people together on the table, negotiation table, and you will create a common language between them, and they begin to believe in same thing. And the day your conscious and unconscious believes in same thing is the day that you achieve your goals. Ksenia, I think it will be recorded even now because I can see it is being recorded. So you can send the email to Illuminations and they'll send you the link. So whatever part you have missed, you can listen to that. So, hi, now what's the difference between going to a psychiatrist and going to an NLP practitioner? Huge difference. Yeah, there's a huge difference. Psychiatrist is a medical doctor, is MD, who is eligible or allowed or competent to give you a medication, competent to diagnose you and to treat you as per your diagnosis. NLP practitioner doesn't consider any disorder as a mental illness. They rather believe that it's a thought disorder. So there is a thought that is distorted, that is creating certain behavior. Now, having said that, there are some conditions that you definitely need to visit a psychiatrist. NLP practitioner or the psychotherapist or the hypnotherapist or any other so-called healer will be complementing your situation. Now, for example, phobias are anxiety disorder. So if somebody has a phobia, it is considered the anxiety disorder. If you go to psychiatrist can give you a medication to feel less intensity of that phobia. Let's say if you have a flying phobia, psychiatrist will give you a medicine which is going to make you drowsier into the flight, and you will not experience that phobia. It will be still unpleasant. It can never become pleasant with medicine, but you will not panic. You will not go into this panic attack if you have to really fly somewhere, right? Now, what NLP practitioner will do, NLP practitioner will completely remove your phobia, which means that you will go to a flight and you will even enjoy your flying experience. But NLP practitioner cannot give you the medication and will not suggest one. Okay, so in NLP, we believe that if you are scared to go into the flight, one thing we know that you have never experienced any crash directly. I mean, very few people in the world have survived and are coming for a therapy. For example, I never had that experience, who has direct experience to the crash of the flight. Anyways, so what we believe is that difference between someone who is scared to sit in the aeroplane and take a travel and someone who is excited to go in an aeroplane and go on a holiday is what they are talking inside their minds, what kind of movies they're seeing about travel and about. Okay, so if you are constantly seeing while going inside the flight, that flight is dropping, there's a news on BBC, so many people died, you see, you know, parts of the bodies of the crashed flight. Obviously, if I'll also do that, and if all of us do that, all of us are going to have the same reaction of, we don't want to travel, right? So in NLP, we are changing this inner movie, we are changing this inner dubbing and inner story that we are telling to ourselves about the flight. So this is the difference. So psychiatrist will give you the medication and medication only. Whether it's a therapist, hypnotherapist, or NLP practitioner, they are going to run some kind of process with you to try to change this thought, try to change the movie you are seeing internally and the sounds and the internal dialogue that you are hearing about the experience. This is the difference. Any other questions? What can be fixed, improved most commonly in your life by NLP? Sorry if you said it earlier and didn't hear. What can be improved, Ksenia? Number one, your emotional intelligence. This is what I said, right? So you can be more emotionally intelligent. You can have more of confidence, focus. You can speed up your learning speed, learning capacity. You can improve your performance in any field. You can improve your relationships because you are improving your communication. You can get rid of your fears and phobias. You can learn time management. You can stop unwanted behaviors and habits. You can start the habits that you always wanted to start. You can change your relationships with everyone and everything, including money, including food, right? You can coach yourself better. You can become a most wanted human being to be in a relationship with. I can't explain this to you. Like, you will be extremely easy with people because you will talk their language. You will build up the rapport with people. right? So you will be easily likable for them because you will understand them better and they will understand you better, whoever those people are. So any behavior you can change, and therefore you can change your life. Yeah. All right. So going back to my story that Salma can't wait. So yes, just like you, but you are much, much younger than me. I grew up in a communist country. So let's understand what was my NLP. Why did I go into this massive panic and anxiety in actually experiencing as if I won 50 kilos of gold? Oh my God. Can you imagine that, what I went through? Because in my mind, having that much gold and having that much money was something so negative that it would land me into a jail, or I would be perceived as the worst person of society. Those were the beliefs that I grew up, but I never thought that I was carrying those beliefs. I thought consciously, oh my God, obviously not. Fool, I don't like that communist country and I don't like that ideology at all, and I don't resonate, and thank God it's not there. And in my whatever small little ways, ever since I was 17, I used to be a fighter, and I would go on those protests and I participated. And I remember when it all came down, entire USSR, and I was very happy. So I never thought that these are the beliefs that are inside me. So my belief system was, whatever money comes, I am not ever going to try, or I'm not going to, do hypnotherapy. Like, it wasn't even a thought. It's not that I'm not going to do it. It never occurred to me to do it. Those ads must be everywhere in every country that I travel. I'm sure there's an ad about, one kind of a lottery or another, but I always deleted it. It never came. How you didn't see those teddy bears and flowers and the carpets moving around and changing and pictures? I never saw those ads. I promise you, this was the first time that I saw, because that lady has woken up that in me, and I'm so grateful to her. I don't know where she is. If I ever get in touch with her, I must tell her the story, that she completely changed my life. And rest is history, of course, what I've created in terms of financial abundance, or it's unbelievable how everything has changed. And I have not changed anything. It's not that I've started any new business, or I'm doing something particularly, or I've opened some company, nothing else. I'm continuing with the company that we had, and whatever business we're doing the same thing. But I've opened the door to it. And when I pulled out my NLP that wasn't working and put in the NLP that will work for me, to be absolutely comfortable. So if anybody is willing to share 50 kilo of gold with me, I'll be most happy and very grateful. And there is one more thing that you need to remember. Whenever there is a physiological signals that you are getting from your body, for example, palpitation and sweaty, or these physiological symptoms are identical when you are excited. Exactly. Identical. It's only the meaning that you make, what it means inside your head, that you are having the panic attack. Otherwise, every time you are excited, go back in the times like when you are going to meet your boyfriend or girlfriend, or something excited happens. What happens? There are butterflies, your hands sweat, your palpitation. This is excitement. It's a good news. But if you internally are having the negative talk, you will say, oh my God, this is now panic attack coming, and boom, it's there. And unless you apply what it means, you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to act. Try this out. Something that comes to you, let's say your boss calls you and says, we need to talk, see you next week. Boom. Now, either it's good news or it's a very bad news, but you don't know. When you don't know how to act. you don't know how to feel, right? If you are a person of anxiety origin, you are going to say, oh, doomsday will come. You will catastrophize anything. You will say, that's it. I've lost my job. He's going to tell me to go away, right? If you are a more optimistic person, you are going to build up the castles. Oh my God, I'm getting promoted. I'm getting my dream project. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And if you just want to be more realistic, you will say, okay, I'm not feeling anything. I'm not acting on it because I don't know what it means. So this is what we do in our minds. We only feel and act when we have a meaning. And we are meaning creators. We love to give meaning to everything. Even the movies, like there are some really cool art movies that end in a very abrupt way. And we are so unhappy. We are not used to it. We will finish that film in our head the way we want to, right? We love movies that have happy endings. Or at least some sort of ending has to be there, right?
Did you maybe see this series on Netflix, Behind Her Eyes?
No.
It's a very interesting and talking something similar to our topic about astral's body. They did it very easy, changing this, they switched the souls, right? With the bodies, and they did it like simple exercise. They were touching the fingers. It's very interesting. And then exactly happened what you said. They all 6 episodes they're presenting this guy like, oh, they kill him and he's a saint. And in the end, he was the one who figured out this technique, astral technique changing, and he messes up their lives. They're coming, and in the end, this girl, it's the second girl that he's coming because he was in love with their boyfriend, right? And that is this little girl that we met and we fell in love, but it's his soul inside. And I told my husband, I don't want this series to continue. If it is her body, it's not her soul. That's it. I don't want to even watch it anymore. They will definitely not continue, but it's exactly what you just said. We created, we wanted that couple to be happy. That was like all serious was mess. In the end, he come inside her body, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Yes, this is how we are. We love to have our meanings, and we love to have the stories in our heads. And if we don't, we will make our own meaning. And the kind of meanings that you make to a situation talks a lot about who you are and what kind of libraries you hold. So if I'll give you a situation, let's say A killed B, and now you create a story. Who is A, who is B? Each one of you will create the stories, and it will be based on what resources you have in your mind. For some, it will be, to mafia or, terrorist and someone. And for somebody, it will be husband and wife. For someone, it will be 2 teenagers who by accident kill each other, or, everyone will create their own story. Yes, like everyone sees different pictures in metaphoric cards. That's true. And that's exactly how you do your tarot card readings. Okay, so you learn tarot card entirely, every single small little dot each card has. It has the meaning, you need to learn that. But when you are sitting in front of the client and you open your tarot, what strikes first out of those images is what you will tell your client. So same card might come up in your 10 clients, but the different parts of the card is going to be shown up. So for example, let's say if it's a Fool, like first card, right? 0 from major arcana. And now, do you see a dog? Do you see this guy? Does it give you a sense of freedom that day, that particular day with that client? Or does it give you, oh my God, he's going to fall? Or do you see that he has enough, resource carrying on that with that stick? Like, what is it that catches your attention in that particular moment? This is how tarot is used. And of course, in psychology also, we have the Rorschach's cards, which, you know, have abstract pictures, and you show the patient and they say, okay, this is the butterfly, this is the spinal cord, this is bad, this is this, this is that. And based on those, what they see, there are diagnoses also. They're diagnosing the patient based on this images. So yes, each one of us is very different of what we perceive, but we have to perceive that. We are very sure we can't be in peace until unless we make the meaning of every situation. But the meaning that you make of the situation affects your behavior. That's the whole point. So you have to backtrack. So if you make the meaning of the situation, oh my God, they're judging me now. They're thinking that I'm not dressed well. They're thinking that I'm not good conversationally. They're thinking I'm not tall enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not beautiful enough, or whatever it is. And now I forget my lines because I've made these meanings. Now I have to backtrack. So next time I want to be free flowing. So for that, I need to be talking what? That they are so curious of what I'm going to share. They're just like me. I'm curious when I'm listening to somebody, and they're curious when I'm talking. So I have to keep backtracking. So what state I need to be, what kind of beliefs I need to have, and then create that pattern. So as a homework, first of all, do few things, like the behavior that you want to change, something that you do not like about you and you want to change. I want you to study that behavior. Okay, when it begins to when it ends, everything that you do, what kind of posture you are in, what you are seeing at the time, what you are telling to yourself, what you are hearing, what you are sensing, just keep writing down. Learn it as if you are going to teach it to somebody. Let's say someone wants to learn and is paying you to learn that behavior. Okay? Understand it. And then something comes in the awareness, how and what you can exactly change. And what will help you to that easier, if you start probably doing something from the, let's say, if you can brush your teeth from tomorrow with your opposite hand. So if you are using your right hand, start doing it with your left hand and see what happens. So different neurons and different synapses will fire up. You will become more present to brushing the teeth, because right now you are doing it automatic. So you will become very present because it's going to be uncomfortable. There is no neural pathway that has been developed. Thank you, Sakshi. And is there any other questions? Or we can...
Irina, I have a quick, I don't know if it's a quick question, but it's more practical. It's about the course. How long is it, and will there be any requirements later, just like the hypnotherapy, the 10 cases? So is there anything similar with the NLP?
No, there is no anything similar with NLP, but there will be evaluation within the course, obviously. There is an evaluation of how you master the skills to demonstrate those tools with your clients, with your partners within the group. And everything else will be emailed to you, yeah? The practitioner course you are asking, it's going to be 5 days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, Rita. All right, anything else?
I guess Del is trying to say something, but she's on mute.
You are muted, Del, 1 second. Unmute. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. I'm trying to unmute you.
I guess because both of you are trying at the same time. So
Okay, so I'm not trying. You unmute yourself.
no.
No, I can't hear you.
She's on mute, but we can still not hear.
Yeah, speaker is on, but maybe you need to increase your volume. Because you are unmuted right now. No? Why don't you type then? Type it here in the chat. Something is with your microphone, definitely, because you are unmuted. I just want to know if the course was also for people who want to practice NLP on that. Yes, definitely. You want to practice it on yourself. During the course also, there will be a lot of practice done on you as the demo sessions and as practicing with each other. So there will be a lot of practicing within the course and the later. Can you please check if your mic is selected same as system? That's Illumination is asking you.
Thank you, Irina. It was really informative.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.